In the next example, notice how Mrs. Rosenbaum has students reflect on the story to identify tricky words and problem-solving strategies used to figure out the word.
Right. Can you guys show me any tricky words that you came to? And I want to know how you figured them out. Oh, that was a tricky word. I just want to talk about one. Can we just talk about that one first?
Yep.
So you had with, and you had trouble with too. What was one way that you worked on that?
I stretched that.
So you stretched it and looked through the whole word?
I looked
Awesome.
through the word.
How did you figure that one out? What did we do? Do you remember?
Sound it out.
Okay, so she stretched that one out too, but we also, remember, what did we do?
Through the word.
We looked through it, but we skipped it. We read ahead. So when she had trouble with growing, she skipped it. She read, we need water for plants. And she thought, what would make sense there? We need water for plants.
Growing plants.
And then she figured that out. She looked at the first letter. So sometimes that reading ahead and then going back can help you put in that missing word.
Now watch how Mrs. Rosner invites student input by not only asking students to find evidence from the text, but by inviting students to explain why. Notice how she extends their thinking beyond the story to make meaningful text-to-self connections to be used in writing on day 2. Finally, notice how the teacher brings student attention back to the text to discuss problem-solving strategies that she observed during reading.
All right, let's talk about this story just a little bit. So what were the things that the kids needed in the story? What were some of the things they needed in the story that you found? Who can tell me a fact they learned from this nonfiction text? Lizzie?
Well, we need shelter.
They needed shelter. Okay. All right, Ariel? What else did they need in the story?
They need clothes.
And clothes. So they could stay warm. Very good job. So those are some of the things they needed in the story. All right, and we talked about how in the story they told us why you needed those things, and I love the way you told me that when you were telling me what they needed. Ariel, you said they need clothes because they keep them warm. So what else do you need? What are some things that you need that you did not see in the story? What are some of the things that you need that you did not see in the story? Zoe?
You're doing the same one I did. Medicine.
Medicine. You want to say medicine again? Yep, that's another thing that you might need too. And now we're going to go one step further. We're going to talk about why. Why do you need medicine?
Because it keeps you from getting sick.
It keeps you from getting sick, exactly right. So it wouldn't really fit in this book, would it? Because does medicine help you keep warm or help you keep cool? Not really, not really. Tomorrow we're going to be doing some writing, and we're going to be writing about the other things that you need. What strategies helped you today when you were reading the book Needs? What strategies? Ariel, let's talk about, since you're going to help us, why don't we talk about that first page where we were right here. You came to this part right here, and that was a little bit tricky for you. What did you do to help yourself there? Ariel she did such a great job. She ran her finger underneath that word, and she said, clothes. That's what that sounds like when you run your finger underneath it. So Ariel, you needed to go back, and what did you need to do with that word? You need to make sure it made sense. So you looked at the picture, you thought about the story, and when you went back to reread, you made it make sense. Can you show us how you did that? Read that to us in your big, loud reading voice.
I need clothes.
Does that make sense? Does it look right? Must be right. Good job. All right, I will keep these books for today. When we come back tomorrow, we will read them again, and I will give you a writing activity to do with them. For now, you may go back to your first centers.